My passion is to help people build their living legacy through the power of real estate by helping them take control of their money, make more money, and save them more time. And as you can see, I'm with my little man here, Echo, to help me do the very best as usual. So why do you want to make money? That's one. And once you have the answer to that, why do you want to do it through real estate? That's the question that I would like people to ponder upon and answer that question, and we can have that interactive conversation. Just to recap on the questions that were asked, the first question was basically in two folds. And the question was, what do you need to demonstrate to the bank to get finance? Because if you want to go into real estate, if you want to go into real estate investment, you need to be able to use a whole lot of debt. I always say this, and people, sometimes frown upon, but you cannot be a successful real estate investor without borrowing money from someone, whether it's the bank, your uncle, your father, your brother, whatever that you do in real estate, you have to borrow money to leverage on. And the reason why you do that is because it's capital intensive. And that's why you need that money. So what do you need to demonstrate to the bank or to any lender to get money from that person? And also, of course, I threw in a favorite part of me, which is the ROI. So basically, what do I use personally as Echo to calculate my return on investment on my property investment? And we're going to go through that. And so that's the first question. And the answer to those questions on the first part of the question is pretty simple. It's just 4 answers. It's basically, you need to establish a good credit rating. You need to take business loans, and that's very crucial. If you also want to go further, you need business loan. And me, as a former banker, I know that banks place a whole lot of value on the entity that borrowing the money. Cash flow is key, but you need to be a legal entity, because legal entity, and if you run the business well, it becomes timeless. Whereas on a personal level, we've got a lifespan, we've got a capped lifespan. Even if you live for 100 years, you're going to die one day. But if the business is run successfully and you've put proper succession plans in place, estate plan, you've got a proper will in place, then obviously the business is going to live on for generations to come. And that's why banks like that. So, and the second part is you basically have to establish a good relationship with the bank, with one bank. Start with one bank and build a relationship further. It's critical to have a good credit rating or good credit history. Without that, you are doomed. So everything that you do in terms of business, irrespective whether it's real estate, whether it's any business that you go in, you need to make sure that your credit record or your credit credentials is something that you don't want to play with. You can't be a successful business person if you're not an honest payer to your lenders. So that's proper, and you have to just meet all your obligations on time. And that's what I just said. You need to pay on time, and if you have more, throw in more so that they can trust you, have confidence in you, and give you more money, because that's what you want. You want more money. The ROI calculation is pretty straightforward. And why do I call ROI the most vital number or equation to know in business? Because it encompasses every single aspect that you need to go through. So when you look at your net profit, it means you have taken everything that expenses that help you basically have to go through in business to be able to generate cash flow. Cash flow is just a fancy word for net profit, and that's it. And obviously your cash invested. So if you borrow money from a bank and you leverage from the bank, then your ROI is your net profit over your cash invested. And obviously there's a video that I've done on how to leverage to invest in property with property, and I explain in detail how do you leverage off, how do you see your leverage numbers. So, and then last week, of course, we did how to calculate your ROI. We just unpacked it. So that video is going to enhance this, and help you to see other revenue streams, what you can make out of property by just using other people's money. If you play the game well, play the money game to win, and property will give you that power to do that. And the second question was, what are the 8 steps plan for rental property investing? And the answers are also straightforward. You need to, of course, these are not answers that are cast in stones. These are not the only answers. People have different versions, but these 8 points that I put across are my favorite, are the ones that made me a millionaire through property. And those are the things that I would like to get people to know so that they can know the steps and avoid lengthy mistakes that I went through to get where I am now. We just want to shortcut the process, but in a quality way, so that you don't make the same mistakes. You can stand on my shoulders and be giant and be bigger than me. That is the aim. So answer 1, the first point is make sure that your credit history is healthy. We've gone back to the credit. So everything that we're doing, your credit history must be solid. That's it. Assess your affordability. Make sure that you are able to pay. You are able to give back. And you can do that if you understand how to calculate your ROI. The ROI will be able to help you assess your affordability. And hence, that is why I'm unpacking all these important equations and all these important factors in business in series. The second is your budget. And of course, I've done budgeting video also. So you can look at the budget video, but my 5 basic techniques of budgeting. So you can look at that, but it's crucial. If you do not budget right, you wouldn't be able to generate positive cash flow. And if you don't generate positive cash flow, your ROI will be negative. And if your ROI is negative, you cannot make money. You cannot be a serial real estate investor or a serial businessman. You cannot be a tycoon. And you want to be great at what you do. And therefore, budgeting is key. Once you know how to budget, it leads onto the 4th point, which is save for deposits. If you budget right, you'll be able to save right, and you'll be able to have enough money to put down payment, a 20% down payment, a 10% down payment, so that you'll be able to leverage off or leapfrog with the other 80, 90% that the bank is going to give you. Get pre-approved loans. It's crucial. That's point number 5, to get pre-approved loans from the bank, because it's like getting into a car to drive and not knowing your destination. That is a recipe for a disaster. So you need to you've got a good relationship with your bank. So get pre-approved loan, know how much the bank is willing to give you, so that you save your own time. So that when you go and apply, or when you go out there looking for properties, you know exactly what your affordability is. So you can sieve and you can filter out the weeds and stay with the best. And that's basically by doing pre-approval, that's what you get out of it. You save time. And this channel is more about helping people save time, make more money. And this is what I did to get where I am. It took long for me to get there because I never had a physical mentor to take me through this process. I had to learn this on my own and with determination. But today, you can make it very simple because you've got me and you've got my team from PropertyAskEkow, who are a brilliant team that will be able to help you achieve your goals. So that's very crucial. And you've got us. Use the resources that we have, use our brains, use our networks, and make money. That's the point. Create financial independence. And that is what this channel is all about. Beware of additional cost. You need to be aware of additional costs when it comes to buying properties. People just look at the purchase price, but you must know that there's administrative costs that you have to pay. There are legal fees that you have to pay. There's municipality bills that you have to pay, your rate and taxes. There's levies if it's a sectional title that you have to pay. All these things, you need to be aware of it so that it can fit nicely in your ROI calculation so that you can get positive cash flow out of it. And I know it's very possible to also make infinite profit out of that. And you can watch that video on how to raise unlimited loans from the bank because it will help you to unpack and understand how to do that. And if you're confused or you want any explanation, you can always send me an email. You can always respond to my YouTube page, and I will always respond to you. The team is there, I'm there, we will always respond to your questions. Visit the property. It is very, very, very crucial. And I'm saying this because I learned it the hard way. We buy properties on auction, and at some point we got complacent and we never went to check the properties before we bought them. And guess what? It took us a year to evict the previous owner from that property. Had I gone to see that property, I was going to always have the feel of what the interaction was and make a judgment call. We didn't do that, and we paid dearly. Even though we bought that property cash, we paid dearly. Imagine now that if we bought that property from the bank and we had to pay the mortgage every single month. On top of it, find legal fees to evict somebody from a property. It is a big headache. The best thing you have to do, go into the property, find out who stays there, find out what's going on, and buy a property knowing that at least you've got a calculated risk. You at least 80% certain, 90% certain that you are going to get access to your property. Go see the property every single time. If you cannot do it, find a reputable person, a strong agent, a good friend that you know in your network that understands what you're doing, and get that person to go see. What I'm saying, go see the property, visit the property. It might not always be you. We've gotten to a certain level that I can't always go to the property because we're busy, but we've got people in place that can go view that property, and we've got models and questions that the person needs to answer when they are in the property to be able to come and tell us how much we must bid for. Of course, the higher the risk, the lower you bid for your property. That's the reason why you need to go see the property to find out what renovation, what other remodel cost that you need to put in to get the property. And the last but not the least is to work with a qualified agent. This is a big mistake that a whole lot of wannabe investors make. Avoid that mistake. Don't do everything on your own. There are smart agents out there that can assist you. And of course, how do you get to know a smart agent? You might ask. You're going to know a smart agent if you have done your homework. You will ask the right questions, and based on the answers that you get, you know that this is the guy that I can part my money with.